Hello and welcome to this video on synopsis. How to write a synopsis, or an approach to write a synopsis for writing one for a novel. How do you fit an entire novel on one page? Well, that is a great question. Your synopsis should articulate your novel from beginning to end, while illustrating your protagonist's emotional arc and motivations along the way. So, as I look at that definition, I really see two things. I see, really, a synopsis of the plot, what happens, and also a synopsis of the protagonist's emotional arc and motivations along the way. So two really distinct things that are kind of put together. So, to give you some examples of this, a synopsis should be really one single spaced page, roughly 500 to 600 words with 1-inch margins. Some writers, this is more intimidating than writing a 100,000 word book. How do you fit 100,000 words worth of information into 500 to 600 words? Well, we're going to take a look at an approach using a specific example. But how do we do this? How? We're going to look at a book that I wrote recently called National Bestseller. This came out in January of 2020. Just for context, this was written way before COVID-19 was even a thing. So while there are some similarities, it was completely unintentional. So basically, again, the synopsis should break down the plot and also the character's emotional arc, as it were. So what I did is I thought, okay, well, what's the basic plot that happens? And I just kind of did some bullet points. Kendra writes a book using scientific research explaining how gas prices will go up because the world is using more gas than it can produce. The book gets published and becomes a national bestseller. The media feeds off the worst-case scenarios of the book and focuses on them. People start to hoard gas and price gouging begins. The Republicans and Democrats are locked up on what to do. Riots begin. People start to drive less, thus lowering consumption. Prices go down because of supply-demand. The focus on finding renewable energy sources increases. So that's the plot of National Bestseller. But it really doesn't talk about the emotional arc of the character, Kendra. So if we look at her character's journey, again, I just did bullet points. Kendra, a science teacher and mother, worries that not enough is being done to promote renewable energy sources. She devotes all her free time writing a book trying to convince people. She neglects her husband and young daughter while writing and teaching. She is unhappy when her agent changes her name and persona to make her more marketable. Kendra is distraught how the media and her publisher are presenting her book. As social unrest begins, she feels responsible. During the crisis, she bonds tighter with her husband and her daughter. When the crisis ends, there is a push to focus on renewable energy, but that doesn't seem as important to her now compared to her family. So we have two distinct situations here. We have the plot of what happens and the character's journey. So what's next? Well, we kind of weave the two together. And I'm just going to give you a sample, an example of one plot point and combining it with one emotional arc point. For example, as people start to hoard gas and price gouging begins causing social unrest, Kendra feels responsible for the national crisis. So not only is this sentence including the plot point, it also is integrating the protagonist and how her emotional arc connects with that. And I would kind of just do that kind of point by point. Sometimes the sentence is going to be more about the character's arc. Sometimes it's going to be more about the plot, but there are times when you can combine the two together. And that is a great way to kind of do the whole thing. So some final thoughts. Remember that a synopsis is not the same thing as a blurb on the back of the book. For a synopsis, you are to include the whole story, beginning, middle, and end. You are not just teasing people about what the book is concerning. You need to give the whole story. So that is something that is a little against our human nature, I think. I think we want to just have it almost be like a movie trailer that introduces you, although there are many movie trailers that basically give away the whole movie anymore. That's a story for a different day. But there's your little video on synopsis.